Welcome back, y'all. Today, I will be discussing the earnings that happened this morning. The main earnings that occurred this morning were Pinterest, Chevron, and Exxon. I will be going into detail on why each of the stock moved that certain way. So, let's get started. First, let's talk about Pinterest. Pinterest today moved 33% on the 1-day chart, and on the 1-month chart, it moved up 52%. On the 3-month chart, it's up around 68.45%. So why did Pinterest move up 33%? Well, they had earnings today and they beat by a really good margin. So the expected earnings for Pinterest were negative 13 cents, but they actually came in at negative 7 cents. That's around a 40% beat on the top line. And on the revenue side, the expected was 254 million, but they actually came out to 272 million. And Pinterest says that their user base is growing at a very fast rate, even due to the pandemic, which is good news for the stock. Now, let's talk about Chevron. So Chevron had their earnings today. It's down around 4% on the 1-day chart. Again, down 4% on the 1-month chart, and is down around 10% on the 3-month chart. So it looks pretty, honestly, it looks pretty flat throughout these charts. And the 1-year chart does not look pretty at all, as other oil and gas companies resemble same pattern charts. So they had a pretty bad earnings. The expected was negative 92 cents. In actuality, it was negative $1.59 in the negative. The expected revenue was 21.7 billion, but in actuality, their revenue was 13.5 billion. That is very concerning for the stock, especially with their high paying dividend and how oil is a declining sector. And if Chevron has already declined so much in one quarter, it begs the question whether Chevron is a good long term stock to hold. Now let's talk about Chevron's main competitor, Exxon. ExxonMobil also reported earnings today. However, as you can see on the 1-day chart, it's only down a third of a percent. On the 1-month chart, it's around 4% down. On the 3-month chart, it's down around 9%. As you can see, it is suffering the same fate as many other oil companies, with pretty bad chart patterns for the 1-year chart and 5-year chart. So, what happened? So, the earnings expected was negative 62 cents, with an actual of negative 70 cents. The expected revenue was 38 billion, but in actuality, they reported a $32 billion revenue. But this is kind of good news for the company, as we can see that their revenues are not as down as compared to Chevron. Chevron was considered the leader the last month in terms of oil stocks to buy, but as I can clearly see by the earnings, I believe Exxon's a better deal for many investors, as they do provide around an 8% dividend and are a dividend aristocrat. So I prefer Exxon over Chevron for sure. Now let's talk about the stocks that I would definitely buy between them three. So between these three stocks, I've ranked them in order in my preference. Number one being Exxon, number two being Chevron, and number three being Pinterest. I believe Exxon can be a good dividend and value play. Even if the price stays the same at around $42 a share, you are getting 8% yield on a dividend aristocrat, which is really good. Chevron is good as well, but they do provide a lower dividend at 5.7. And as you can see in the March crash, they went down to around $55 a share. So it's not as good as a deal as Exxon, as Exxon's drop was only around $31, $32. And Pinterest, I would not even touch, even though their earnings were really good. I mean, you're from a 272 million revenue, and you're still at a loss, and your market cap's around 20 billion. It seems very, very sketchy to me, to be honest. I would not touch this company until they start reporting profits or their revenue starts increasing. Because Pinterest has been here a long time, even though it has not been in the public markets for a while. Pinterest was opened well before 2010, so you can't claim this is a growth company or stuff like that. So there you have it, folks. I have some shares in Exxon, some in Chevron, but none in Pinterest. Thank you for watching and have a good day.